3.
Hi, welcome back to Tiny Classrooms Live.
Hi, the doctor here, Don Zulu in Taos, New Mexico.
And I'm Artie Nathan, the HR guy here in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. And our topic today is 9 ways leaders accidentally ruin good employees.
Emphasize the accidentally. And these are tips, Artie, that can help ensure that a healthy and productive relationship between manager and their team, whether they're back at the office working normally or still working remotely. These are kind of universal items, aren't they?
Yes, they are. The first one is holding unnecessary meetings. I had a boss once who said, don't bore people at meetings. Don't waste their time. If you've got something to say, have a meeting. If you don't bother with it. And I think unnecessary meetings just get in the way of people's emotions, get in the way of people's productivity, and you can control that.
I think that's very good. And make sure you give clear communications. Best way to measure that your communications have been clear is ask people as they leave the room what the point of the meeting was, what the point of the communications were.
Yeah. And don't give too much information. I mean, employees need to know what they need to know. And when you overload them, when it's like drinking from a fire hose, it's no good. And people start to wonder, what am I listening to? Why do I have to listen to this? So make sure that you always hold good meetings with good information.
And following up on that, responding too little and too late, when somebody asks you a question or makes a request, don't ignore it until you've got time to answer it. Answer it now. Right? Answer it in respect to the question so the people aren't waiting too long.
Yeah. And don't try to control everything. People hate being micromanaged. You probably did when you were being managed. And so I think it's important to understand that people need space. You need to give them clear directions. You let them do their work and give them good feedback.
That's right. And another is leading with emotions. Emotions have their place, even at work. But if you bring too many into the workplace, you really can harm your team. And this is where everybody's heard about emotional and social intelligence, and that's what this is about. This is what that's about. You need to bring your emotional and social intelligence into the workplace, not the fact that you had a fight with your wife this morning.
And people don't want a boss who's indecisive. Being indecisive just leaves people hanging, and it's no good. People need information, they need good, clear instructions, and they need an answer to the questions that they have. And that's your role as a manager.
That's right. And a lot of managers fall victim to this, but changing things too often, jumping from one idea to the next, changing the team's priority rapidly, this can be a problem, and it confuses people. It gets in the way of clarity of what their objectives and their plans and things that they need to achieve are. So don't change things too often.
And don't criticize without praising. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, it's natural, and it's easy to point them out. But as a manager, a good manager, an effective manager, you're there catching people doing things right so that when you have to point out the things that they miss, it sounds like you're a balanced person. And that's good management practice.
Yes, it is. So good leaders minimize the damage by using some of these points as a way to introduce solutions and to lead teams and introduce more training and so on and so forth. So as you just said, it's a very good approach to discrete and ecological management.
Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us and keep up the good work.
Yes, very much so. And thank you very much for being here.